Hey, everybody, here we are. I'm Cleo. This is
I'm
Colleen over here.
I
My sister.
Yep.
Um, and we've only got Brado, and I thought there was somebody else on here.
It says there's four people. I think one of them is you and me because we're the same person on this because I'm an admin.
Yeah, and
I
I
don't know.
just want to let you guys know that when you see me respond in the chat section, more times than not, you're seeing my sister respond because she's an admin on this channel for right now. And anyway, I don't know if we should wait a few minutes for people to show up or if anybody is going to show up. I know it's kind of a weird time on a Sunday afternoon, but it has been a huge news day already with Biden stepping down, and we have a lot to say about that.
Well, we could just talk about what's going on with our channels while we wait for people to show up.
Hi, Lady Life, and B.A. Haven, and Brado, and Cleo the Seer. Hi, Cleo the Seer. And Colleen. So, what's going on with our channels? Not a whole heck of a lot. It's summertime, so a lot of the shows have been, we kind of cut them down to where I was doing Caffeinated and Unfiltered and Mystic 4 every other Monday, and now it's dwindled down to just once a month. So at the beginning of August, I will be doing those kind of shows. After today, I don't have anything till Thursday, and my schedule just has a question mark. It could be kitchen table issues. Do you have kitchen? That's what you call it.
I told her I can't do it. I have a conflict that Thursday.
Okay, all right. So maybe there's nothing on Thursday. Then on Friday is the Cool Crow and Oracle, which are
Yes, yes.
personal readings with
And I
Sheila,
think yeah,
Celtic Tarot. Um,
yes.
and then on Saturday is the Real Psychics of YouTube.
Yes.
And then that gets me into August, and I haven't done my August scheduling yet. So, but I know that the first August is probably going to be Mystic 4 or Caffeinated and Unfiltered, and then the second Monday will be one of those two as well. So
Okay, good. Yeah. So you said most of the shows that I'm doing, except also on the 28th, which is next Sunday, a week from today, I'm also doing a show with Gerald about Llamas, which is the next Wiccan holiday.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we've all got a little bit less. I think that also in August you are going to be taking off beginning August 15th.
17th. Yeah, I am doing the New York Ren Fair again. It's from August 17th to October 6th. If anybody's in the tri-state area and you need something to do on any of the weekends, please consider going to the New York Ren Fair. It's been in operation for 45 years, and I've only been reading there for about, I don't know, 6 or 7 years, something like that. And it's really, really a fun day, but it's a day. You don't go up there for just a couple hours. It's a day. And you can eat, big turkey legs, and you can have, you could be drunk by noon. I mean, they open at 10. And most people who come for readings for all of us, they're drunk by the time they get there. And we open at 10, we go to 7, and most of those people are 3 sheets to the wind. But it's a fun day. It's a really fun day. They have jousting, real jousting. They have all sorts of performers who are all performing. Everything that's there has to have existed in the Renaissance. So you have performers that are doing like real acrobatics. We have a guy who juggles flaming batons. We have knife throwers. We have I mentioned the joust. We have just fun like shows that are just comical and very Renaissance-y. what else we have? The food has to be all Renaissance, although they do serve French fries, so, and falafel and stuff like that. So,
Okay.
but that's good. And all of the artisans that are there, like there's jewelry makers and silversmiths and leather workers and people who weave things, and they sell like carved stuff, and anything that could have existed in the Renaissance they do at the fair, and it's really cool. Oils, incense, art. Um, there's games for the kids. There's activities actually for the kids that are standard all every weekend. They have a queen. She does her promenade through the fair, and they have a queen's court that you can attend, a little thing with the queen's court. They have a human chessboard, which is really fun. I mean, archery, whatever you can think of that's in the Renaissance. A maypole, they have a permanent maypole. They have fairies, they have a fairy forest. I mean, I could go on and on. It's a day's activity, and it's really,
Okay.
really fun.
Well, that
Yeah.
sounds cool.
Yeah.
So, Book Bewitched said, first of all, she came on. Hi, Book Bewitched.
Hi,
Also,
Book View.
she said, Cleo, you need monitors. Want me to? I do, but we were just discussing this, and apparently, if I don't set it up prior to the show, I don't really know how to do that. I do have a couple moderators. Aren't they called moderators?
Yeah.
I have
think
a
though,
couple
if you go to your channel and look at the chat, I think you might be able to do it, but you don't have to. Human
Yeah, but
chess.
Book Bewitched, I will put you in there eventually. But thank you for volunteering for that, because yes, I do need that. But I do
Yeah.
have some, but I don't see those people here today. I don't know who's here today. But let's get started with what's going on with Biden and Kamala
Okay.
Harris.
Okay, here we go.
We all got the news, and everybody freaked, and then I sat back and went, "Wait a minute, this is really, really a good thing." I hated to see him step down because we all love Joe Biden. There's just no getting around it. He has done so much for us. I think we're just all very grateful for what he has done. But he does I knew if he did this that I would have to totally accept it, because he has made that decision. He could have said, no, I'm going to stay in, or no, I'm not going to stay in. He did get an awful lot of pressure from other Democrats, and they were trying to take away his money for campaigning. And I apparently they knew what they were doing. I have to. I was angry with the other Democrats, but now I have to just let that go, because I can see what a good thing this is going to be. It will be Kamala Harris. However, she is going to have to go through the process of being the nominee at the Democratic convention. So, but I definitely see that it's Kamala Harris, and I have said this on a couple different shows, that there's a possibility that they would have Joe Biden be vice president. Now, here's what I get. By the way, the energy you talk about. Well, I've been talking about the energy going crazy. This was particularly a weird one. I couldn't figure out why I woke up and I was just kind of feeling down and depressed, but it went away because now I see what's going on. The thing about having him be vice president instead of president, it just, I got a couple messages that might happen. Then again, I just don't know about the energy. I feel like this is something that Kamala would want, and that she probably has already discussed it with him, but I don't know how that discussion went. And to me, it just seemed like a win-win situation. Because for one thing, you will know that Kamala Harris is going to continue with all the work that Biden's already done. I mean, it'll be the same as having Joe Biden there, except now you've got a younger, more vibrant person, and she is well equipped to handle this job. And they have been, I really feel like they've been grooming her the whole time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And most Democrats that I've seen so far are in, they do agree. This is before Biden stepped down, that Kamala would be a very, very good candidate, a very good president, and that she can probably beat Trump. And now the Trump camp, get ready for just some, you talk about weirdness. They are going to come up with every single negative thing they can come up with about Kamala Harris, because they are
But
scared.
who will be listening? Who will be listening to them?
Well,
Nobody-
they're scared to death. This
Yeah.
is their worst nightmare. And then the fact that they ended their convention with a rambling, lying speech from Trump. At least with Kamala Harris, you'll know that she is upfront and honest and transparent, and willing to work for America and not work for herself, like Trump. And I see why the Democrats would be so concerned that Biden wouldn't win. I mean, I tell you, I still think Biden would have won.
I still do too.
And him stepping down though is really a good and positive thing. And regardless of who Kamala has as vice president, and I think it's up in the air. It's just up in the air. They're on the fence about that, and that's not her main focus right now. Her main focus is to be the nominee in the first place, and then she will announce, or maybe she'll announce it way before. I don't know. I mean, we've still got a ways to go, but it's time now. These Democrats will finally come together and get united, because it's so unusual, I thought, to see the inner fighting between the Democrats. They're not usually so like this. And so now they can, they wanted something, they got it, they will all come together. And here's the other thing I see: once Kamala has become president, I was just explaining this to Colleen before we came on. I heard that Kamala Harris was going to be a great president months and months ago. And what I thought that meant was that Biden would get it and Kamala Harris would eventually take over and be president, because for one reason or another, Biden couldn't do that. So that's not happening. Now it's going to be her all the way. So there's no lag here. There's no taking over something. She will be the president. Then the other thing I got was that the last time I asked about this, which was probably about 5 days ago, or maybe a week ago, I said, is Biden going to be president? And they said, it will be Democrat, Democrat, Democrat. I said, that's not what I asked. And they said, Democrat, Democrat, Democrat.
Annoying, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, what in the world? And so I actually asked Val from Dragonfly Crystals. I said, I'm getting this. And I said, I just don't quite understand the message. And she goes, it's because you've asked it so many times. They're sick of you asking the same question and coming out with the same answer. Well, it ends up that that's not really the way it went. What they are saying is a Democrat president, a Democrat House, and a Democrat Senate. And I'm like, oh, well, now this is something we would all like to hear. And so anyway, they're telling me that again today. This morning we had the weirdest conversation, because this is before I knew what Biden had done. And they just kept saying, don't worry. Kamala Harris is going to be the next president, and Democrat, because that's exactly where we were going with Biden. I thought same idea, and it's really, really important. And I guess making the change that they're making right now to have Biden step down is going to seal that. And that's the motivation to get all these Democratic senators and people in the House, Democratic House. I mean, that's really important. I mean, because then we can all work together, or the government can work together to get things done that couldn't be done because the Republicans constantly interfered. So everything that's happening right this moment turns into the Republicans' worst nightmare. And, for this last month, it has felt like we are witnessing our worst nightmare because of how the Republicans just seem to be batting 1,000. I mean, here, the thing with the Supreme Court and the presidential immunity. Then, somebody takes a pot shot at Trump, and that then his popularity escalates because of that. And then what's her name? Cannon drops the ball on the document case down in Florida. Jack Smith is running up against all kinds of conflict of trying to do his job. It's coming together quicker than I thought. I thought we weren't going to have something real big happening until August, but now it's happening now. So all of these things in the end are going to work out, but you will still, as much as I hate being on this merry-go-round, this chaotic energy, it's still going to be a little chaotic because this is a whole new thing now with Kamala Harris, and but it will be great. It's really going to be good. And so if you're particularly concerned and worried about this, don't be, but don't, you might just want to avoid the news, because the news is, well, you see how it goes. I mean, it seemed like no matter what was happening with Biden that was good, all you'd hear about is either Trump's court cases or how well he's doing in the polls. His good fortune, his ride that he's had, particularly this month, is about to end. I'm not saying that there could not be some other goofy good thing that would happen for him, but as far as him being president, that's just not ever going to happen. It's just too big of a because he does want to annihilate democracy. He does want an authoritarian government. He doesn't do anything for Social Security. He doesn't do anything for helping people with taxes and stuff, and this thing about tariffs and everything. No, he still puts you in a position, as particularly the people that can't afford to be paying extra taxes, will be under. And so every single thing that we don't want to happen won't happen because Kamala Harris will be in, Trump will be out. But it's, you got to remind everybody of the terrible things that Trump wants to do. And the thing about Roe versus Wade, abortion, women's rights are going to be at the center of this election.
Yes.
Women are, this is the big opportunity. Instead of going out and protest or ban the bra or burn the bra or whatever they were doing back in the 60s, this is your opportunity to get out and vote and get things back on the right track. Because I do see I don't know how they do it, but this Roe versus Wade is going to be, and I don't know if you'd say reversed. Maybe it is reversed, but it's going to change because already a lot of women have run into problems, and there's been some deaths because this abortion thing that it went through, because they're threatening the doctors and all. So this will be, the Supreme Court is going to be a big, big deal in 2025. That's going to be a lot of changes. This court case with the documents, this thing with Trump, I see something coming up between now and soon. Now and soon. That's what I'm getting. That Jack Smith is busy, busy, busy. He's doing something, and I think that this is one of the things that comes up that really uh, plays havoc with Trump's campaign. Um,
Mm.
I keep seeing that he might be vacant, and I don't know what that means, but
Well, before you go too much further,
okay,
I threw some cards just about the whole shift of having Joe step down and Kamala pick up the mantle, and they are good. They are really good cards. This is an excellent new beginning for the Democrats. The Ace of Cups, excellent new beginning. Yeah, it's going to take a little while for them to work out all the details behind the scenes. And in the meantime, it's not so much that this guy is bored and doesn't like the options. This is Joe recuperating. A cups card usually deals with health, and he is a water sign. So this is appropriate for him. So as he sits there laying in his bed, recovering from COVID, he is also going to be making plans and making demands and trying to get some traction out of this decision. It isn't just going to be he drops out and he has nothing else to do, because then he would be such a lame duck until the election and until January that why should he even stay in? He has no intention of letting that happen. So I think that he's going to try to make hay out of all of this. He's going to try to make it worth it. For if he's stepping down, then he wants something from all these Democrats. Now, don't ask me how they're going to get more things done than he's already gotten done with the stupid Republicans still in Congress, but he's going to. The wheel of fortune is turning, and things that he really wanted to get done that he couldn't get done, guess what? They're going to be done like tomorrow. They're going to be done quickly. And he's going to really push for going back to some things in the past. He's going to really push for overturning the Dodd's decision, overturning some of these things that have changed, even the thing with the Supreme Court with the immunity. He's going to do his damnedest to bring back the more meaningful laws that we used to respect and we used to follow. So I think he may be trying to do some things with the Supreme Court even before the election, I think.
oh,
And
he's already doing something about
well,
this.
no, I know those, but I think more. And then
Okay,
the final card from this whole thing is the magician. Then the Republicans, I did a separate throw on them, but for the Democrats, they're not going to be really sure if Biden is I mean, they know Biden is a magician, but Kamala is also going to be making a few demands of her own. She is also not just saying, "Oh yeah, bye Joe, I'm just going to step in." No, they are a team. So
yeah.
they're going to she's going to make some demands too. It's not, I mean, of course Joe will. But what I got for the Democrats or the Republicans is so interesting because a couple of the cards overlap. They also get the Wheel of Fortune, but it's the first card up. So for the Republicans, somebody just like took the Yahtzee cup and dumped all the dice out. I mean, the Republicans are just like, what? Wait, Kamala Harris? And our guy is like a babbling idiot? Uh-oh. I mean, all of a sudden they're realizing that their pants are on fire. They also get the Ace of Cups, but look at the Ace of Cups in this deck. It it's raining on the Ace of Cups. It just looks sad. It looks like they're crying. Like they're not happy with this Ace of Cups. And I think in this, the way this deck is, I think that this is almost them kind of like worried about Trump being Looney Tunes, Trump being uncontrollable, Trump being sick, Trump being not up to the task. And then they have the emperor. This is Trump, who's just like, oh yeah, 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 I'm fine, I'm fine, everything's going to be good. And the king of wands, he also wants to be the king of wands, but I think this is JD Vance. I think JD Vance is going to really try to take over for Trump because the last card is the strength card. So I think JD Vance is going to be all about very slyly from the back end, very subtly, very secretively. I think he's going to do his utmost to just kind of push Trump aside so that he can also become the presidential pick on the ticket.
You mean right now?
Mhm. He's
Maybe
a
not.
bastard. JD Vance is a bastard. He has allegiance to no one except for Peter Thiel, apparently. He does not, he was a never Trumper up until like 5 minutes ago,
Yeah, no.
right?
Right.
So I think JD Vance is, if I were Trump, I would not be sleeping well at night. Oh, and I also heard, and I got this from my guides, I also heard that Melania has offered her services to give a speech at the Democratic convention.
Huh? Wait, what?
That's a joke. Nobody, nobody would have Melania. She didn't speak at the Republican convention. Nobody would have her. I forgot one card that jumped out when I was shuffling for the Democrats. It was the sun. The sun is shining for the Democrats.
Yeah, and Peace Mama says the blue storm is coming. Absolutely. It's been so weird and unusual to see the infighting of the Democrats recently. Um, and it just the Republicans were just in heaven. Oh yeah, let them fight it out, and then they're looking around like we've got this, and no, it's all coming to an end, which I said the last time, whatever show I was on last time, I said the same thing, that their party is over. That I still think that there's some legalities that Trump is going to face that's going to hurt him.
Yeah.
And now you tell me that JD Vance might want to be the one to take over. Right, it's too late for that, isn't it? I mean,
Well, you know what happened to Caesar? He was stabbed in the back by all of his senators at the behest of his number one man, Brutus. This is what is going to happen. It's going to happen to Trump as well.
Wow. Okay.
He
Well,
has a bad ending. He has a bad ending.
well, I do see some bad stuff happening for Trump. I didn't really see so much with JD Vance. I don't know. I don't think JD Vance is a serious contender at all. I just don't think he has the experience. And
No, he's not. But he
and
has
he's a no name. I mean, who in the hell ever heard of him until now?
no, he has been a senator for 18 months. That's the way
Yeah,
people have
well,
heard
there
of
you
him.
go.
But he has Peter Thiel behind him, and Peter Thiel is just a monster. You think Dick Cheney was awful? Peter Thiel makes Dick Cheney look like you know, Steve Jobs. I mean, nothing.
Okay.
Or maybe Steve Jobs is a bad analogy.
But it is the blue storm is coming, definitely. And this is really, like I said, I mean, we all love President Biden, and I felt sad that he was going to have to step down, but then I could see the light on the other side that said this is really a good thing. This thing about my thought about um, uh, Biden being vice president. I think for one thing, they want to look at the logistics, if that's even a possibility to do that. I still think that if they did it, it would be, first of all, it'd be something that's never happened ever that I know that I'm aware of that
Nope, never happened.
anything like that would happen. And also, um, yeah, they would win by a landslide, easy, but there might be some other conditions. I mean, maybe there's some stuff going on with Biden where he doesn't want to do that. In the meantime, you're right, Colleen, about him doing whatever he can between now and January. He is going to be busy, 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 and he will because he does have more stuff he wants to do. Everything that he does, Kamala Harris is right there with him. They do make a great team. I
Yep.
guess that's the other thing is I feel like if she would nominate him as her vice president, her running mate, that team is just an amazing team. And
Wouldn't that be something if
it
she
would be
announced that at
great.
the convention? That would be just amazing. It'd be just
But
amazing. But think about it, if he's not the vice presidential pick, think about all that he can accomplish if he doesn't have to go out on the road campaigning. That just gives him back many, many hours where he doesn't have to travel. He doesn't have to do, I mean, he may have to take some other kind of official trip, but it just gives him back all that time where he can just focus on doing these very, very important things that he wants to get done before he leaves office.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be great.
So I did a throw for JD Vance, and he's gonna do this. This is what he's gonna do. He's gonna act like it's all lovey-dovey right up front. Then he's gonna stab him in the back. He's just gonna put all sorts of stuff. He's gonna say, "This is too much work. I want Trump to do all of his work." He's gonna start acting like the devil. He's gonna start, you know, two-timing Trump, basically. And then he's gonna act like he's not interested in even being the VP anymore until he gets his way and gets to be the presidential nominee.
And so is JD Vance also one that claims that the 2020 election was stolen and all that? Yeah.
Probably. JD Vance is all in with the whole Project 2025 thing.
Okay.
He's worse than Trump. He's more married to it than Trump. Because I think Peter Thiel is really married to it. I don't know. I haven't read a lot about Peter Thiel, but just my feel from I saw a picture of him and my feeling just seeing his visage was gross. He it's just gross.
Right.
Yeah, I think Vance will be turning on Trump very soon. Very soon.
I didn't, I haven't been paying any attention to that. I just
Thank
saw
you, Bewitched.
I just saw what was going to be happening, and maybe that does go along with what I'm talking about, that some of these legal things against Trump kind of makes the Republicans go, uh-oh, this is probably not good. And that maybe Vance would try to take advantage of that. But it's way too late for somebody like him to come in and try to make a big difference and be elected president. Then
It's
again,
kind of the same situation as Biden Harris. If he is the formal, and he's the formal VP pick. So something happens to the presidential pick, the VP steps in, and this is what he wants. They're going to be putting banana peels on the floor. They're going to be hiding his Diet Cokes. They're going to lose his diapers. They're going to, take away all of his spray tan towelettes. They're gonna poke holes in his hairspray cans. They're gonna do everything they can to mess him up. They'll probably lock Walton out in a closet so he can't dress him. I mean, they're gonna do everything that they can, and it's gonna be coming. JD is gonna be sitting there like choir boy. I didn't do anything, but
well,
he's
I like it that they're going to poke holes in his hairspray cans.
What do they got to lose? What do they got to lose? Here's the thing with the Republicans. They don't have any headquartered offices all over the United States. They don't have the money for that. They have done their rallies, but they don't really have boots on the ground working on the campaign, except I believe in Mar-a-Lago. I don't think they have any other headquarters. So they all just sit around in a conference table in Mar-a-Lago and then go to dinner and get drunk. And, that's not a great campaign. He does have professionals working for him, but he hasn't given them the structure to be able to really do the stuff. And he doesn't cooperate with them. Sorry,
but
go ahead.
there's many prominent Republicans that were at the convention, as well as prominent Republicans that are donating money that don't want Trump to get it.
No, they don't. So they'd love this plan of JD's. They'd love that Vance was doing that, except that Vance is worse than Trump. So they're
In between a
They're
rock
good.
and a hard place.
Yes, they are. Took the words right out of my mind. That's exactly right.
Well, yeah, but we've just been so on edge about what's going to be going on, who's running for what and how is this going to work out. And I'm telling you, I see it just so positive, so good. And I have seen this for a while, but it just didn't make sense at the time until all these things come down. Just like I was totally thrown when somebody tried to assassinate Trump. And I just thought, boy, this is going to make him look really good. And they're looking around like he's so brave. And and I love it that people are teasing about the bandage on his ear. And then I read an article about reconstructive surgery on his ear was going to cost $10,000, but that
He doesn't even need it.
yeah,
Jesus,
I mean, he does not need
please.
it. And they're
Oh,
saying that the bullet hit his ear, and everybody's kind of questioning whether that really happened or was it shrapnel.
it was what the doctors put out a letter. I think the day after the thing, doctors at I think in Butler, PA, put out a letter and said it was not a bullet. It was the teleprompter shattered with the bullet, and a piece of glass flew by his ear. If an actual bullet from was it an AK-47 that the kid had? It was one of those high-powered rifles.
Yeah.
And if that had come like within this much of his head, it would have taken off not just his ear, but a little part of his face and his skull. I mean, those things when they get close to you, they destroy flesh and bone. So there's no way that that bullet was anywhere in his neighborhood. That was a piece of glass from the teleprompter.
Okay.
And also his reaction, if a bullet flew by his head, and like I said, it would have damaged his head, his reaction wouldn't be, oh, gee, what's that? Because that's what he did. He went, that would not, that's like a fly goes by your ear and you go, oh, what's that? A bullet goes by your head, or worse yet, an AK-47 bullet goes by your head. You'd be like, oh, the bullet would have thrown him.
You know what? There is a picture just as Trump is going up to grab his ear. There is a picture that looks like a bullet that's like a couple inches. Well, it's from the picture, so like maybe a foot away from him that it was shot at the. They took the picture at the exact same time. It does look like a bullet going past his head. So I don't know. I don't care.
It didn't go by his head. Isn't the person who got hit? Were they on the stands behind him, or were they in the crowd in front of him?
No, they were in the stands behind him.
Yeah. So that person, bye. That.
I like what this person said, Chris.
Yes, Chris.
Surgery on his personality. So, yeah, this whole thing about there's something going on with Trump that is going to change things for their whole campaign. Also, going back to the energy of all this, it reminds me of Survivor. Expect the unexpected, because that just keeps happening over and over. And we talked about this back in 2023. That this is exactly the way 2024 was going to go. Who would have ever expected some of the things that have happened? But this thing about Biden stepping down is not a bad thing, and nobody should be too freaked out about it. I mean, we all love Joe Biden, so it's a sad time, but Joe will turn that around to where we'll be like, oh, wow, there he did it again. And I think it's because of all the changes and all the growth that he will manage to get through between now and January.
Yeah. So, but, is it sad? No, not for him. I did a video about the full moon in Capricorn, which is today. And the full moon was connected to Pluto. It was bound to affect world leaders or a world leader. I said it in my video that it was going to affect, and it was going to be something profound because of the degree of the moon and the sign that it was in. It was bound to be a very significant full moon. And what's happening with Joe right now, if you put the full moon chart over his chart, is that yeah, he's not feeling great. He's recuperating. He's probably pretty much recuperated, but it's weakened him. And his Jupiter is moving past Saturn in his seventh house. That's along with his Uranus. This means that this is kind of a relief. He's kind of like, oh, okay, I don't have to go make 50,000 campaign stops. His sun is just going past his natal Jupiter. Again, a feeling of relief, a feeling of, oh, this big thing that's coming. And now I can leave it in Kamala's hands. Just he's going to fulfill his legacy. He's going to get all of his stuff done. He's got really good stuff coming up over the next few months, approaching his midheaven, which is his legacy, his career. It's going to be good for him. He's going to be healthy, and he's going to be able to conquer all of these things. And he doesn't have to really worry. I mean, this is a relief.
Yeah, because he knows that he can depend on Kamala to follow through with what they've both been working towards for 3.5 years. I mean,
and he's always said, show me where it says that I'm going to lose and Trump's going to win. If you show me that, then I will step down. He said that. He said that
right,
over and over.
Right,
and
he did.
So,
but that's not why he stepped down.
Okay.
He stepped down because he was listening to all the Democrats that were coming at him. He was listening to them, and he stepped down in his mind for the good of the country, not because he didn't think he could win. He also because he's not feeling well, and he's concerned that it's going to take a little bit longer to recover from COVID. And he's got things happening for next week. He's meeting with what is that guy's name?
Netanyahu.
Yeah, Netanyahu.
Do you think also that he also wanted to heal the rift in the Democratic Party as well, so that they would come together for the election?
Yeah, he saw that he needed to do something to bring Democrats back together, because this infighting and pointing fingers and doing weird stuff, it just looked so
terrible.
It just does not look good. And but he does what he's doing for the country, for us. And like Lorraine says here, we need to stick together and vote blue and get the Senate, the House, and the presidency. And that is exactly what's going to happen.
And I'm glad you brought that up. I did a little quickie throw of cards on the Republicans' activities about trying to win the White House, the House, and the Senate. And very interesting cards. They're just all about stealing. They're all about manipulating the election and cheating. It's all about it. They have, Page of Cups. That's like the idiots there that think that they can make all these changes. The Knight of Swords, they're acting hastily. But the Seven of Swords, they're stealing. So they're going to try still to steal the presidency. And the big country with the letter R is going to try to help them. And then for the House, it's going to look real rosy, like, oh yeah, the House, we could definitely take back all those seats. They're not going to take back any seats, not one. We have the seven of wands and the Three of Swords. So there's just going to be heartache over that. They're going to lose more seats than they ever thought about. And then for the Congress, oh God, it looks hideous. It's I got the Page of Pentacles. So they're young, they're immature, their ideas are really immature. They don't have the money. This is a Page of Pentacles, not a king, not even a queen. This is a Page of Pentacles. So not even enough money to do everything they want to do. The Eight of Swords, they're hemmed in. Half of them are going to be going to prison, I think, because the Eight of Swords is the woman that's all tied up with the swords around her. It's different in this deck, but it means the same thing. And then the High Priestess. So everything behind the scenes, everything hidden, everything secret, everything, clandestine,
Everything Project 2025.
Yeah. Well, Project 2025 doesn't talk about cheating in elections.
Well, that I mean, I saw the cheating in the elections
Oh, terrible.
time ago. You know, as soon as you hear Trump say the elections are the voting is rigged, then you know that that's what they're planning on doing. He's just letting you know we're
Yeah.
going to rig the election. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping, I really think, you know, that there is a lot of people on top of this that are watching it in
Oh, they
each,
are.
particularly in those prominently electoral states that we depend on to decide who's going to. I see Harris winning that all the way around. I also saw Biden winning that all the way around. And that's really critical because that is what Trump is banking on to win. He doesn't care if he gets the popular vote. He cares if he gets the electoral vote. So hopefully the people in those states are getting their act together and the women are coming together and saying, you know, I don't want to be an authoritarian country. I don't want, you know, to lose all my rights. I don't want to actually even think about that. I might not even have the right to vote if I vote Trump in. So there's, you know, there's the women and the people all over the country that are looking at this. They are going to be relieved when they know, when they realize that Kamala Harris is going to be the next president. I mean, they're going to want her to do that. So it's just, but it will take, there will be so many goofy stories where um, it makes me not even want to get on the internet and see what they're saying now. But
Well, I tell you, one thing about Kamala being the presidential candidate is that she'll pick up more of the youth vote because she has already said that she did not rule out consequences for Israel if it launched a full-scale invasion of Rafah in its war against Hamas, which is more than anybody else has said, that they would withhold or do something so that Israel couldn't continue to do that. And I think the youth really will appreciate that if they know about it, if they're paying attention to know about it. But I think that's really going to help. That's really going to help her with the vote because she'll have mainly the women's vote, the black vote, the Hispanic vote, probably most of the youth vote, and
and
you
all
know,
the independents, I think the independents will just immediately go over to the Democratic side.
yeah,
And there, you know, half of them were going that way anyway, but this will help because
yeah,
their
well,
biggest beef is not that Biden didn't do a great job, that he was just too old. Well,
yep,
Kamala will do the same job. She is in, you know, she knows everything that's going on there. So now you've got a younger person, a you know, somebody that you're not going to have to worry about getting sick or something, and that can get off and, you know, onto the airplane and off the airplane without falling down the stairs. And that even if she did, it wouldn't be a broken hip like it might be with Biden. I mean, that I understand
that's
the
huge.
concern about his,
Yeah, I
about,
do too. I do too.
so, you know, everything about Kamala is like Biden, but youthful and younger and progressive. And she knows exactly what she's doing. And, you know, remember, she wanted to be president in the first place.
Yeah, she did. She ran a great campaign. One thing that I hope that Biden has done in his 3.5 years is to help Kamala cultivate relationships with all those old fogies that he knows. I mean, he knows the young people too, but he has deep relationships with so many of these people because he was in Congress for so long. And she wasn't. She was a one-term senator. So or did she even finish her term? I'm not even sure she did, but um, that's the one thing that I hope that she can maintain is having, of course, there's nothing that's going to replace his 50 years in the Senate. Nothing's going to give her all of that knowledge, but she has had 3.5 years to watch him and to question him and talk to him about, how did you do that? How did you get them to come to the table? How did you talk to them? What did you offer them? How did you know you could offer that? Like, I bet she's asked a lot of good questions. She's a lawyer. She knows how to probe and get all the answers. He's a lawyer too. So I'm sure there was a lot of really good discussions that way. I hope there'll be more, but I'm just you know, there are plenty of old politicians in Congress and the Senate that need to retire, or the alternative. They just need to get out of there.
Right.
And there's still, even though we're losing a lot of them right and left, we still have a few left, particularly Mitch McConnell and that hideous guy from Iowa, Grassley. I mean,
Well, Mitch McConnell's already stepping down.
but not till like 2027, right? He's in
Well,
there.
and you don't hear much from him anymore because he's become irrelevant.
He can still work behind the scenes. Look
Well,
at
I'm
Nancy
sure he's trying
Pelosi.
to. I'm sure he's trying to, but he's pretty much irrelevant.
Yeah, but he's dangerous because he still has a lot of power. Lindsey Graham, I mean, he's not that old, but still. I'm just going to Google this.
Google what?
I'm Googling how many U.S. senators are over the age of 75.
I can't wait to see what people like Graham and Cruz and those guys, what they're going to come out and say now that Biden has done what the Democrats wanted him to do by stepping down. It's just the circus will get even bigger for a little bit. There'll be a lot of weird things said, and they're going to come down on Kamala Harris like nobody's business, and it's all going to be lie after lie after lie, which is exactly what the Republicans do. That's what they do best. And that's, they figured out how not to do their jobs and how to lie. And they have, they learned it from Trump, a lot of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, maybe they've always done it. I wasn't paying attention before that. But yeah, Trump has taught them how to lie, and that once you once you make a statement that's a lie, you stick with it no matter what.
Okay, so there's 10 senators. One of them is Dianne Feinstein, who's already passed, but there's 9 senators who are over the age of 75. Chuck Grassley is 89 years old. Ouch. But then there's about 6 who are at 75, one of which is Mitt Romney, and I know he's not coming back. I don't think Manchin's coming back. He's 75. God, there's a lot of old F's in here. I mean, they're old. This is a lot of people who are really old. I mean, if you just go down to 65, that's like the halfway mark on this list. 65 being the youngest of that group, that top group. So half of them over the age of 65. That means they're in a generation that just can't relate to what's going on in the world. I don't think.
Right. No, I
And,
agree.
and especially if they've been in politics for quite some time. They came into politics and learned their tricks in a world that doesn't exist anymore. That's scary. But anyway, I think Biden's going to be good. I know, Lorraine, I agree. She can give it right back. The problem is debate isn't the skill set that gets bills passed and laws made. Debate is for debate.
Well, are we just talking about debates, or are we talking about all the media crap that will go on?
And I don't think she doesn't have to fight her battles in the media. She has a press secretary to do that. She doesn't have to really say anything again, to stand up for herself. She's got a press secretary to do that. What she needs is the political power to get things done like Biden did. And I think she might have it. I think hopefully he kind of passed the torch to her and gave her the lowdown on these people, introduced her, had her get to know them, had them get to know her. Those relationships are so important in politics. That's what everything is done on. I mean, look, Biden even did things with Mitch McConnell where even Trump couldn't get some of those things done. Certainly Obama couldn't get those things done. But Biden got them done. So I think that's super, super important. And I know that, Kamala is an excellent speaker. She speaks very, very well. And that will also help the American people, I think, rally to her. Her giving a rousing speech, they'll just be like, oh, I love her,
And I just want to remind everybody that in the coming weeks, a lot of legal stuff is going to be coming up with Jack Smith, with Aileen Cannon, and particularly with Tanya Chutkan.
Mhm.
This woman, I'm on pins and needles waiting for her to say something because she's the one that's kind of been handed the Supreme Court's immunity thing, and she's got to decide what is proper under, was it his job to do something? Was it Trump's job to do something? Or was it his personal preference to do something? And I think that, that she is going to clearly define that. And that is one thing that's just going to screw Trump to the wall. I mean, he is going to be livid, and he'll come back with, he's got to appeal and take it to the Supreme Court again and do all this stuff. Well, the only thing is, I'm not sure. I mean, if she comes out and says that there's certain things that he did that don't fall under the presidential immunity clause, can he try to fight that again and again? I mean, this just keeps going back and forth, but it's these kind of things that are going to be coming up in the coming weeks that really looks terrible for the Republicans. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that, because it kind of felt like no matter what Jack Smith did, he couldn't get a foothold going because, Cannon would screw things up. And then the Fonnie Willis stuff, she can't seem to get going because they want to try to take her off the case. I don't know if that's going to happen, but Chutkan, I've got high hopes for this woman. She comes across with a great energy of, and total fairness. And I thought that we were going to hear from her by Friday, but I guess that didn't happen. I'm thinking that she is being very careful exactly how this is written up so that they can't come back and say something is wrong here. That her orders or whatever she ends up saying can't, goes against and that's what they'll do. They'll say it goes against some other rule. But no, I think Chutkan is going to make a big, big difference, and that's going to come up in the next few weeks, and that's just an added thing to make Trump look horrible. But if anybody's if you're still feeling anxious about this whole thing, don't worry about it. Things are going to work itself out. And that is what we said before Biden stepped down, that no matter which way this went, it's going to work its way out. And it's going to be exactly how we want it to be. And it's going to be perfect, but it's just getting there, and all the garbage that you'll be hearing from the media and from the Republicans, because they are freaking out right now. They did not want this. Their worst nightmare came true. I'm like, ha ha ha. This is, they have just been writing this, the good luck that they've had and all this. Uh, yeah, their luck's running out. The circus is tearing down the tents now and moving on. And Trump's still sitting there like, no, 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 fight, fight, fight. And it's not going to work out for them.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know the answer if she puts out something that if it can be appealed or not. So I'm just gonna pull a card on that. I pulled some cards on what she's gonna do. No, I don't think that they can appeal it really. I mean, they can try. Everything that they're doing is so novel. There's no rules to any of this because nobody's ever done it before.
Yeah, it's
But,
all new.
but what I got for her is that she's going to work some magic. She is going to make sense out of what the Supreme Court handed down. And when she does, you're going to hear crickets because it's going to make much more sense legally than what they said. She's going to kind of have to rewrite it in her own decision or opinion that she gives, but she's going to make it make sense, and it's not going to allow him to have total immunity. That's how she's going to make sense out of it. And it's
Right.
interesting also the dismissal with Aileen Cannon. That's not going to stand either. I don't feel.
No, I don't either.
I feel that that's going to lead to Cannon's being dismissed or taken off the bench or both, and that another attorney or a judge will be popped in there, and it'll just pick right up and go. And I don't think Mr. T is going to like that at all. But in the meantime, he's got bigger fish to fry because Jack Smith is going to be right on it with the Mar-a-Lago case. And then with Chutkin doing this other thing, Jack Smith again is going to be really in the spotlight with this, that he's got a case. Trump has to pay the piper.
And I'm not so sure some of this stuff is going to come up before the election, but I'm pretty sure a lot of it is going to come up before January 20th.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
So
Yeah.
it's just, but between now and the election, I think that the change that was made today to have, if there even, some of the Democrats are still like, well, we got to go through the process and have her come in. It's going to be her. It's going to be her. And they're going to finally settle down, and they will unanimously get behind her when it finally gets to that. But in the meantime, there will be more discussions about, well, maybe we should have somebody else. And no, you absolutely should not. And that's not the way it's going to work out. But they're going to go through the process anyway. But in the meantime, she can easily overcome Trump. She's not a felon. She's not a rapist. She's not a somebody that commits fraud all the time. She's not a liar. And I have to keep reminding everybody of what Trump is versus what anybody else who might be running for president is. Nobody is like Trump, and there's no way in hell that this country is going to let a convicted felon become president. It's just not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
I think. Oh, what were you going to say?
No, go ahead. I'm getting ready to wind this down.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. When Kamala gets in, I'm gonna send her an email and say I think she ought to put Alvin Bragg in as the head of the Justice Department. Because I think Merrick Garland is really tired. I think he needs to have a vacation and spend some time with his wife. That poor guy, he's been through the ringer.
Okay, so it's been a little over an hour. I've tried to bring up all the stuff that I've picked up on that I think is going to happen. I really appreciate everybody showing up. Colleen and I are going to continue to do these kind of shows from now until the election, at least, if not beyond that. So keep an eye out for us. And thanks for coming, and thanks for your input. And we really appreciate it. We didn't have a ton of people today, but that's all right. They'll probably get it on the replay after we're done. And so anyway, thanks so much.
Thank you.
See you all.
See everybody. Take care. Bye. Mwah.